Baby girl found a German shepherd crying near an abandoned car. What happened next shocked the whole street. There are moments in life that shake you. This is one of them. A child with nothing but courage, a dog with nothing but pain, and a connection that proved healing sometimes comes from the unlikeliest places. This story changed lives. It might just change yours too. The sun was just beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows over the quiet street where little Mia wandered, her tiny feet barely making a sound on the cracked pavement. It was a calm evening, the kind that made the world seem peaceful and safe. Yet, something unusual stirred nearby. Mia, barely 3 years old, was on her usual evening stroll with her parents not far behind. But something caught her attention, a soft, heart-wrenching sound that didn't belong to the gentle breeze or the distant chirping of birds. Curious, Mia paused, tilting her head to listen more closely. The sound grew louder, a series of whimpers and low cries that tugged at her innocent heart. Her eyes scanned the street and finally rested on a sight that made her stop in her tracks. There, pressed against the cold metal of an abandoned car, lay a German shepherd. The dog's fur was matted, soaked from the earlier rain, and its eyes shimmered with tears, or maybe it was just the wetness from the damp air. The dog was trembling, its body pressed tightly against the rusted frame, as if seeking shelter from the world's cruelty. Mia's heart ached instantly. Though she was just a baby in many ways, her empathy was boundless. She crouched down carefully, not wanting to scare the scared animal, and whispered softly, "Are you okay, puppy?" Her voice was gentle, trembling with a mix of fear and kindness. The dog lifted its head, the sadness in its eyes meeting Mia's innocent gaze. It was as if the dog was silently pleading for help, hoping someone, anyone, would notice its pain. Around them, the street remained eerily silent. Neighbors peeked out from their windows, curious but hesitant, as if the scene unfolding was too heavy for the usual evening calm. The abandoned car was no stranger to the block, left there for months, but the dog's presence was new, shocking, and deeply unsettling. What had brought this beautiful creature to such a desperate state? Why was it crying alone, so vulnerable, next to a forgotten vehicle? Mia's parents rushed over, concern written across their faces. They saw what she saw, the dog's fragile frame, the wet fur, the look of pure abandonment. But before they could even approach, Mia gently reached out her hand, her tiny fingers brushing the dog's cheek. The German shepherd leaned into her touch, a flicker of hope lighting up its eyes for the first time since Mia had found it. What happened next would shock not only the family but the entire street. It was a moment no one expected, one that would unravel a hidden story of neglect, courage, and unexpected friendship. From that quiet evening walk to a whirlwind of events, the dog's desperate cries were only the beginning. This isn't just a story about a lost animal or a curious child. It's a powerful reminder of how innocence and compassion can break through walls of fear and neglect. How one small act of kindness can change lives in ways no one could imagine. And how sometimes the most vulnerable among us can inspire the strongest in us all. So stay with us as we reveal the heart-stopping journey that began with a baby girl, a German shepherd, and an abandoned car. Watch how their unexpected encounter sets off a chain of events that leaves an entire community questioning what they thought they knew, and fighting to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Prepare yourself for a story that will tug at your heartstrings, challenge your beliefs, and ultimately restore your faith in the power of empathy. Because this innocent encounter was not just chance, it was destiny. The neighborhood was one of those peaceful enclaves where life seemed to move at a slower, gentler pace. Tree-lined streets curved softly around neat rows of houses, each with manicured lawns and welcoming porches. It was a place where children played freely until the evening breeze nudged them indoors, where neighbors exchanged warm greetings over white picket fences, and where the biggest disturbance might be the occasional dog barking or the hum of a lawnmower. For years, this calm had wrapped around the community like a comforting blanket, steady, reliable, and unchanging. But beneath that serene surface, there was a mystery quietly lingering on the outskirts of the street. A rusted, abandoned car sitting neglected at the far end of the block. The car had been there for months, slowly succumbing to the wear of time and weather. Its faded paint peeled like dried leaves, and its windows were smeared with dust and grime, making it difficult to see inside. No one seemed to know who it belonged to or why it had been left to decay in such a public place. The neighbors whispered guesses: a runaway vehicle, a broken-down relic, or perhaps a silent witness to a forgotten event. Yet no one had dared to approach it closely for fear of what they might find. In this quiet neighborhood lived a little girl named Mia. At just 3 years old, Mia was the embodiment of curiosity and innocence. She had a mop of soft curls that bounced with every step and eyes wide with wonder at the world around her. Mia was shy but gentle, often spending her afternoons quietly exploring the edges of her backyard or watching the clouds drift by with a sense of awe. Her family was close-knit and loving, her mother a nurse, always kind and caring, and her father a schoolteacher with a warm smile and endless patience. Despite their busy lives, they always made time to nurture Mia's spirit and encouraged her gentle nature. On this particular day, Mia's parents had taken her for a stroll to enjoy the cool evening air. As they walked down the familiar streets, Mia's attention was drawn to the distant whimpers echoing softly near the abandoned car. The sound was unlike anything she had heard before, fragile, scared, and full of longing. Drawn by an invisible thread of empathy, Mia slowly approached the old vehicle, her parents following close behind. There, nestled against the rusted bumper, was a German shepherd, a dog that seemed out of place amid the suburban calm. The dog's coat was a patchwork of dirt and mud, its once sleek fur now tangled and unkempt. Despite the grime, the dog's striking amber eyes shone with a deep sadness that pulled at the heartstrings of anyone who looked into them. Its body was thin and trembling, ribs visible beneath the coarse fur, clearly weakened by neglect and hunger. The dog whimpered softly, its tail tucked low beneath it as it shivered from the cold night air. Mia knelt down gently, reaching out her small hand with the purest intention. She whispered softly, "Are you okay, puppy?" The dog's ears flicked up at the sound, and for a brief moment, it lifted its head as if recognizing a flicker of hope in the child's voice. That simple connection between the two, an innocent baby and a wounded animal, seemed to forge an unspoken bond. It was a silent promise that, no matter the pain or fear, they would face it together. Around them, the neighborhood's usual tranquility began to shift. A few neighbors who had heard the dog's cries stepped outside, their faces etched with concern and curiosity. Mrs. Thompson, the elderly woman from next door, wiped tears from her eyes as she saw the pitiful state of the German shepherd. "How long has this poor creature been out here all alone?" she murmured. Others gathered quietly at a distance, watching as Mia's parents gently approached the dog, offering water and soothing words. Some passers-by hesitated, unsure whether to intervene or to call for help. Rumors quickly spread. Had someone abandoned the dog? Was it lost, or worse, forgotten? The once forgotten abandoned car now seemed like a symbol of neglect and mystery, holding secrets that the community was only beginning to uncover. As Mia and the dog sat side by side, the first flicker of trust began to glow. The dog slowly inched closer to the child, allowing her soft hand to stroke its damp fur. It was a fragile moment of healing, a spark of hope born from two beings who had known fear and loneliness but were beginning to find solace in each other's presence. Little did anyone know that quiet street, the abandoned car, and the crying German shepherd were just the beginning of a story that would shake the entire neighborhood to its core. A tale of courage, compassion, and the unbreakable bond between a child and a dog, one that would teach everyone what it truly means to protect the innocent and fight for justice. The evening air hung heavy with a mix of rain-washed scents and the faint rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. But despite the calm atmosphere, something urgent simmered beneath the surface. Mia, the tiny 3-year-old, sat beside the trembling German shepherd, her small hands carefully resting on the dog's muddy coat. Her eyes, bright with innocent determination, reflected a courage far beyond her years. Though so young, she understood, in her own pure way, that this creature needed help, and she was the first to answer its silent call. "Mama! Papa! Look!" Mia's soft voice cut through the quiet as she tugged at her mother's sleeve, pointing toward the abandoned car where the dog whimpered. Her parents quickly moved closer, their faces shifting from casual curiosity to growing concern as they saw the dog's fragile state. Mia's mother, a nurse by profession, knelt down gently, her calm voice soothing as she spoke to the German shepherd. "Hey there, sweet girl. We're here to help you." The dog flinched at first but slowly allowed her hand to brush its fur, its eyes never leaving Mia's gentle face. The bond between the child and the dog was undeniable, a pure connection born of empathy and compassion. Nearby, other neighbors had begun to gather. Mr. Reynolds, the retired firefighter from across the street, was first to approach after hearing the dog's cries. "Poor thing," he muttered, kneeling beside Mia's mother to assess the dog's condition. The dog's ribs were stark against its dirty coat, and its labored breathing spoke of exhaustion and fear. Mia's father pulled his jacket tighter around him as he surveyed the abandoned car. The vehicle was more than just a forgotten relic. It was a grim marker of neglect and perhaps a clue to the dog's story. "We need to see if there's anything inside the car," he suggested, his voice steady but cautious. The group edged closer, peering through the grimy windows, finding nothing but old newspapers and debris. As the adults worked quietly, Mia stayed close to the dog, whispering soft reassurances. "You're safe now, puppy. I'm here." Her words, though simple, seemed to comfort the animal, whose trembling lessened in response. The innocence of that moment was palpable, a small child offering hope to a creature who had known only hardship. Word spread quickly through the neighborhood, and more people arrived, some offering blankets, others bringing food and water. Mrs. Jenkins, a longtime animal lover, fetched a bowl from her kitchen and filled it with fresh water, placing it gently in front of the dog. The German shepherd hesitated, then lapped thirstily, the first signs of life returning to its weary body. The community's response was swift and compassionate. The local animal shelter was contacted, and within the hour, a small team arrived with a van and medical supplies. The shelter workers praised Mia for her bravery and quick thinking. "You did a wonderful thing, sweetheart," one volunteer told her, kneeling to give her a gentle hug. As the team began their examination, they carefully lifted the dog onto a soft blanket. Mia's parents stayed close, their hands reassuring both their daughter and the dog. The vet on site checked the dog's vital signs, noting signs of dehydration and malnutrition. "She's been through a lot," the vet murmured, glancing at the concerned faces around her. "But with proper care, she can recover." Mia watched, wide-eyed but calm. She had taken on a role far bigger than herself, becoming the guardian of a life that had nearly slipped away. The dog's amber eyes met hers once again, a silent promise passing between them, a pledge of trust and newfound hope. Neighbors gathered in small groups, discussing the mystery of the abandoned car and the fate of the dog. Some speculated about possible abuse or abandonment. Others wondered who could have left the animal behind in such a state. The street, once quiet and unassuming, now buzzed with a shared purpose: to protect one of their own, even if that own walked on 4 legs. Local authorities were notified, and soon a police officer arrived to take notes and investigate the car's origins. The officer expressed gratitude to Mia and the community for their swift action. "It's rare to see such compassion from someone so young," he said with a smile, bending down to hand Mia a small badge-shaped sticker. "You're a little hero." Throughout the evening, the story of Mia and the German Shepherd unfolded like a beacon of hope. The baby girl's innocent bravery had not only saved a life but had also brought the community together, reminding everyone of the power of kindness and the strength found in unity. As the dog was carefully loaded into the shelter's van, Mia stood by the window, waving goodbye. Her heart was full, a mix of relief, love, and a determination to keep fighting for those who couldn't speak for themselves. The German Shepherd had found a protector in a tiny child, and in turn, Mia had discovered the profound impact one small act of courage could have. That night, as the shelter prepared to care for the dog and the neighbors settled back into their homes, a new story was beginning, one of healing, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between a baby girl and a German Shepherd who had both been found and saved near an abandoned car on a quiet street. The sun had barely risen when Officer Ramirez arrived at the quiet street, his eyes scanning the scene where the German Shepherd had been found. The neighborhood still carried the sleepy calm of early morning, but beneath the surface, a storm of questions brewed. The abandoned car, the distressed dog, and the courageous baby girl had already stirred whispers. Now the investigation was about to dig deeper. Officer Ramirez carefully inspected the old vehicle. Its faded paint and dented frame told a story of neglect, but it was the little details that caught his attention. A cracked windshield, a discarded dog leash lying nearby, and faint tire marks leading away from the curb. These clues hinted at a hurried departure, perhaps a deliberate abandonment. Nearby, Detective Lillian Brooks arrived, called in from the city's Animal Welfare Task Force. Her reputation for meticulous investigation preceded her, and she wasted no time. "Let's document everything," she instructed the officers. Cameras clicked, notes were taken, and every inch of the car and surrounding area was examined for evidence. Inside the vehicle, they found remnants of what appeared to be a hurried escape: torn blankets, a few scattered toys, and an empty dog food bowl. Nothing outright incriminating, but enough to suggest someone had tried to care for the dog, at least at some point. Detective Brooks's team reached out to local shelters and veterinary clinics, hoping to trace the German Shepherd's history. Soon, they uncovered a troubling trail. Reports of a stolen dog matching her description had been filed weeks earlier from a nearby neighborhood. Her name, it turned out, was Bella. The story deepened. Bella had not just been lost. She had been stolen, perhaps used, and then discarded. This revelation sent ripples through the community, turning quiet curiosity into collective outrage. Neighbors came forward with their memories. Mrs. Clark, an elderly widow who lived 2 houses down, recalled hearing raised voices late at night a few weeks back. It was a couple arguing harsh words about getting rid of the dog, she said, her voice trembling. Others mentioned a mysterious black van seen parked suspiciously near the abandoned car days before Bella was found. Meanwhile, Mia's parents grappled with their own mix of emotions: pride in their daughter's bravery, fear for what Bella had endured, and a deep concern about the dark truths the investigation was uncovering. "We never imagined something like this could happen here," Mia's mother said quietly during a neighborhood meeting. "It's heartbreaking." As news spread, the local media arrived, cameras rolling and reporters asking questions. The story of a baby girl rescuing a crying German Shepherd near an abandoned car had captured the hearts of many, but the emerging hints of cruelty and crime added a grim weight. Community meetings were held in the town hall, where neighbors shared their worries and frustrations. Some called for stricter animal protection laws, while others debated how to better watch over their streets. The baby girl who had once been just a curious child had become a symbol of hope, and a catalyst for change. Officer Ramirez and Detective Brooks worked tirelessly, piecing together fragments of information. Surveillance footage from nearby homes was reviewed, revealing shadowy figures and unexplained movements around the time Bella had been left behind. The mystery seemed to grow with every new lead. Late one evening, as the investigation deepened, Mia sat with her parents at the kitchen table. Her small voice broke the silence. "Will Bella be okay? Will the bad people be caught?" Her mother smiled, brushing a stray curl from Mia's forehead. "We're doing everything we can, sweetheart. Bella's safe now, and people are trying to make sure no one else gets hurt." The case became more than just a local incident. It was a rallying point, a story of resilience in the face of cruelty. The baby girl and the German Shepherd had become unlikely heroes, their bond shining through the darkness. As the days passed, the community held its breath, waiting for answers. Who had abandoned Bella? And what dangers had she escaped? Each discovery only deepened the mystery, fueling a determination to see justice done. In the heart of it all, Mia continued to visit Bella at the shelter, her laughter and gentle touch reminding everyone that even in the darkest moments, kindness could light the way. After the intense investigation and the whirlwind of emotions that followed, Bella's healing journey began. The first step was medical care. A team of compassionate veterinarians examined her thoroughly. Her ribs showed signs of malnutrition, and the scars on her legs told stories of pain and struggle. Yet, beneath her weary eyes, there was a spark, a hint of resilience waiting to shine. Bella was admitted to the local animal shelter, where the staff dedicated themselves to her recovery. Day by day, she received nourishment, warmth, and gentle care. The once trembling dog began to regain strength, her coat slowly regaining its shine, and her eyes brightening with each passing morning. But it was the visits from little Mia that truly marked the turning point. Every afternoon, Mia's tiny hands would reach out with a soft touch, her bright eyes reflecting a deep compassion that transcended her young age. Bella, initially hesitant, would slowly inch closer, eventually resting her head on Mia's lap, sensing the purity of the child's heart. The bond between them grew stronger with every visit. Mia would bring Bella her favorite toys, talk to her in a soothing voice, and share her little world filled with laughter and innocence. Bella, in return, responded with gentle tail wags and playful nudges, the walls of fear slowly crumbling. The shelter became a place of transformation, not just for Bella, but for Mia and the entire community. Volunteers joined in to help, inspired by the story of courage and compassion. Donations flowed in, and neighbors organized events to raise awareness about animal welfare. The once quiet street buzzed with a renewed spirit of care and unity. Mia's family supported her every step, marveling at the change they saw in their daughter. The silence that had once marked her days began to lift, replaced by shy smiles and tentative words whenever she spoke about Bella. It was as if healing one soul helped heal another. Through this special relationship, Mia learned lessons of patience, empathy, and resilience. She discovered that love had the power to mend wounds, both visible and hidden. Bella's trust was a gift she cherished, and in return, she offered unwavering devotion. The transformation was remarkable. Bella, once a scared and abandoned dog, now greeted visitors with bright eyes and a joyful spirit. Her playful antics, chasing balls, wagging her tail, and nudging Mia for attention, became a source of happiness not only for Mia but for everyone who knew their story. More than just a pet, Bella became a symbol for the neighborhood, a living testament to the strength found in healing and the hope that can emerge from neglect and fear. The community, once shaken by cruelty, now rallied together, united in a commitment to protect and care for the vulnerable. Local children joined Mia during her visits, learning to treat animals with kindness and respect. Elderly residents found joy in watching Bella's progress, sharing stories of their own beloved pets and offering wisdom to the young. As weeks turned into months, the emotional growth in Mia was undeniable. She spoke more, laughed more, and her eyes sparkled with a newfound confidence. The baby girl who had once been silent found her voice through the connection she shared with Bella. Bella's recovery mirrored the healing of the street itself. What was once a place marked by neglect and sorrow blossomed into a neighborhood filled with hope, kindness, and renewed life. The simple act of a baby girl reaching out to a crying dog had sparked a transformation far greater than anyone had imagined. Their story was a reminder to all that healing is possible when compassion leads the way, that even the smallest acts of kindness can ripple out to touch many lives. Mia and Bella's bond became a daily beacon of light, inspiring everyone to believe that no matter how deep the wounds, love and care could bring new beginnings. Together, they taught the street to hope again, for the dogs, for the children, and for a future where no one would be abandoned or unheard. As the days passed, the once abandoned German Shepherd, Bella, found a new chapter in her life. Thanks to the unwavering care from the shelter and the love from little Mia's family, Bella was no longer just a survivor, she was a cherished member of a family. After thorough consideration, Mia's parents decided to officially adopt Bella, opening their hearts and home to the brave dog who had captured their daughter's spirit. The adoption ceremony was simple but deeply emotional. Neighbors gathered, smiling and applauding as Bella, now full of life and joy, walked confidently beside Mia. What once was a heartbreaking scene near an abandoned car had transformed into a celebration of hope and renewal. The local animal shelter director spoke warmly, thanking everyone for their support and highlighting Mia's courage and compassion. Mia's role didn't go unnoticed. The community and even local authorities recognized the extraordinary compassion shown by such a young child. A small award from the city's Humane Society was presented to Mia, honoring her bravery and kindness. The recognition was more than just a token. It symbolized the power of innocence and empathy to spark real change. The story of Bella and Mia quickly spread throughout the neighborhood and beyond, shining a light on the darker issues of animal cruelty and abandonment. Conversations began among neighbors, schools, and local organizations about how to better protect animals and prevent neglect. Community meetings were held and initiatives launched, including regular animal welfare patrols and educational programs for children and adults alike. Inspired by the transformation they witnessed, the neighborhood united to create a safer, kinder environment for all animals. People volunteered at shelters, organized fundraising events, and opened their homes to foster animals in need. The abandoned car, once a symbol of despair, was removed, replaced by a small garden dedicated to animals who had found new hope. For Mia, the experience was life-changing. She grew up knowing that even the smallest voices could make a difference. Her connection with Bella taught her lessons of courage, resilience, and unconditional love, lessons she carried with her as she blossomed into a confident, caring young girl. Reflecting on the journey, it was clear that this story was about more than just rescue. It was about the incredible power of innocence and compassion to heal wounds, build bridges, and inspire communities. The courage of a baby girl and the trust of a wounded dog had ignited a movement of kindness that spread far beyond the quiet street where it all began. As the sun set on the neighborhood, painting the sky with soft hues of orange and pink, Mia and Bella sat side by side on their front porch. Bella's tail wagged gently as Mia stroked her fur, their eyes filled with a quiet joy that only true friendship can bring. It was a scene of peace, a reminder that no matter how dark the past, love could always light the way forward. To everyone watching this story unfold, remember that every act of kindness counts. If you see an animal in need, don't turn away. Your compassion could be the spark that changes a life forever. Be vigilant, Be caring, and together, we can create a world where no creature is left abandoned or unheard. So next time you walk down a quiet street, keep your eyes and heart open. You never know when a small act, like that of a baby girl and a crying German shepherd, might change everything. Thank you for joining this journey. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to tell us in the comments, what part touched your heart the most? Together, let's spread love and hope for all those who need it. Some bonds are too deep for words. What did you take away from today's story? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time, believe in the unseen.